Are you trying to build a multi-million dollar business in 2024? Rather than watching a load of shit on Instagram of all these influencers talking about the billions they're making, start listening to people that are actually doing it in 2024 and are just that little bit of a gap ahead of you of how you can start making more millions. So today I'm going to give you 8 tips, not from something that I've found on ChatGPT or something that you just search Google for. These are actual things that in 2024 have caused myself to build a $10 million plus business. So stay tuned. So welcome A Players. You are watching the A Players podcast. You can either be watching it on YouTube or you could be watching it on Spotify or iTunes. Let's get straight in then. What does it really take to build a $10 million business? I'm going to give you the steps today of what I've done. So this isn't something that I've just grabbed off the internet. This is stuff that I've actually done over the past 20 years of building a business. But over the past 5 years especially, the business has accelerated. And not just this one. I invest in multiple businesses and they are all accelerating at rapid growth rate. So here they are. Number one, it's about you, right? You've got to learn before you earn. The only place that you'll start to find earn before learn is in the dictionary. Okay. So what does that mean? If you want to make more money, whether it's personal income or business revenue, then you need to start understanding that you're not going to get there with the foundation that you have today. You need to start learning some new stuff. So first things first is that you've got to be in an environment, put yourself in a place where you are learning more. And that begins with the attitude to want to learn, a growth mindset. Listen, at the end of the day, organizations are like this. A business, a company is an organization. An organization, like an organism, is a bunch of collected cells, collected people, collected resources, right? That's an organization. The organization is only the sum of the people in it. And if it's just you as a one-man band or one-man entrepreneur right now, or even if you're working for somebody else, it doesn't matter. Your learning will determine your income, that business's revenue, your personal income, and your personal success. So what are you doing on a daily basis to always ensure that you're learning new things? Number 2, how I built a $10 million business is that got to have the right attitude. Okay. So you must have the right attitude. What attitude means is that, well, we just mentioned it in the previous point, is that, look, if you haven't got the attitude to grow, if you haven't got that growth mindset, then it all stops there. But it's not just around learning and growth. It can also be the attitude of how you perceive the world. If you've got a attitude that is always hard done to, a bit of a victim, then guess what? You will always find the negative in everything. And if you find the negative in everything, you'll never find the positive or the opportunities in things. So always need to check your attitude. Now, as an organizational psychologist, as well as an entrepreneur and CEO, I can tell you now that this isn't an easy feat. This isn't something that you can just do and say, hey, look, I'm going to have a positive attitude now. All that bullshit does not work. What you need to be doing is checking in on the attributes that will allow you to have a more positive state more often. So people have specific traits and they have state. Just because that state isn't right at that time isn't because it doesn't mean it's down to that person. It's not their characteristics. You see, someone's traits are with them for a lifetime. Somebody could have the traits of an engineer, or the traits of a happy person, or a traits of more confidence. You see, but there's also those traits, but there's also the states. People can choose strategies of how they adapt more often to the situation. So we don't want to really change somebody's traits within them. We want to change someone's state. Yeah, because that's difficult to change is someone's traits. But someone's state, we just need a better strategy of how we figure out what state do I need to be more often. For example, right now, I may not be feeling that I want to do a piece of marketing material, or I want to turn up to the office on a Monday morning, or I want to turn up and finish a piece of work that's been going on for a long time. However, what you need to be thinking about is that feeling of not wanting to do something is a state and it's not you. So, what sort of things can you put in place to keep your attitude in check more often so you stay consistent with building your $10 million business, if that is the goal? It is for this podcast, obviously, because this is what we're talking about. So, what's number three? Number three, know your direction. So, whether you're an entrepreneur, intrapreneur, executive, doesn't fucking matter. What you need to be thinking about is what is the direction that you are traveling through life? Yeah, the direction of travel. You see, there's so many different things that's trying to grab your attention all the time. And we really need to filter out. People are quite good at filtering certain things out and going, okay, let's go here. But even myself, there's plenty of things and opportunities that come up that go, okay, shall I start to take that one or take this one? Seems like a good opportunity. Why would I let it miss? Well, here's why you let it miss is because every time you take something else on and say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So just remember, you need to think about here, what are the things you really need to say yes to rather than yes to everything? And the answer to that is by knowing your direction. Where do you really want to be in the next 10 years? For instance, there could be something that comes up about a new business opportunity or a new investment, or the amount of fucking people that tell you about, hey, Lewis, look, there's this crypto thing. I mean, I get daily messages about crypto and investments, right? What really matters to me is to understand, where do I want to be? And for me, it's around leveraged time that creates income. So my time is not being used because the most valuable asset that anybody will have is time. So my goals will always be down to my values, which is also a big driver, is that around family, around freedom, around what causes that sort of stuff, around fun, around people, around friends. So today, when I'm doing these podcasts, ultimately the decision is made that podcasting is a great way for me to create that sort of life. And with what I do with investing in businesses as well, is that I'm not going and working in those businesses. I'm actually taking a more consulting role within those businesses that I invest because that's what I'm good at. I've built $10 million businesses. I can go and show other people how to do it by investing in their businesses. So that doesn't mean it's right for you. I'm only using this for an example now of my personal experience because I prefer the real talk around this. Okay. If I was talking about somebody else, it would not be real. So, what is real for you? What do you need to be really thinking about so you can make split decisions that of what actually you should be doing, saying yes to, and what you should be saying no to? Number four, know your why. So, underpinning all those goals of the next 10 years of what you want to be heading for, the direction of travel, think about why is that really important to you. As I just mentioned, one of my biggest values is family. More time with family. You can't get that asset back. Other people may have different beliefs around it. For example, if you're a lot older than me, then it could be around that. Look, time is not there, so time might be a more important thing. So you do not want to be spending much time within a business. Or if you're a lot younger, it could be, hey, look, I've got all the fucking time that I need. I want global domination. Yeah, I've worked with these people. I still work with these people in investing, where people just want to say, hey, look, I want to go for big, right? So if I put some money into their business, acquire some shares in their firm, then what happens is that I know that no matter where I'm planted, that business is going to accelerate. And they know that too. So, what is your why? The people that I tend to work with could either be they want more time, or they want to make more money, or they want global domination. Yeah, global domination, as in they want to expand their businesses around the world so they can make a bigger impact. Okay. So, there's my why. I mean, the biggest why for me is the old saying by Socrates: it's a shame for a man to grow old and not realize what he's capable of. So, what's your why? What's your favorite quote? And what keeps you going on a day to day basis? So, number five, look, building a $10 million business, you've got to have leverage in it, right? You've got to have leverage, and you get that leverage through the systems, right? So, what I mean by this is that if you're just in it to make a few bucks, right? If you're just in it and say, hey, look, I want to make $1 million, right? Well, great, but what sacrifice do you need to do that for? Because if you're prepared to work 50, 60 hours, like the things that you see on social media, great, okay? But understand this, are you building the right thing that is allowing you to scale? Okay. So, what I mean by that is that you could put a lot of hours in, but eventually you can't work more hours than 24 hours in a day. Yeah. Well, one, you would be very ill because you don't sleep. And two, you would burn out fast. So, how do you get leverage? How do you get scalability? And it's worth thinking about this now, whilst you're at the under 10 million mark. Yeah, because eventually, if you are aiming for 10 million, 100 million, like the people I invest with, then you're going to need something that can actually be that vehicle to get you there. Again, this is why we need to think about what is the goal that you're actually trying to achieve. If it's just a lifestyle business that you want to replace your income, great. You don't need to be thinking about that much leverage because it's your time. So there's only one way to actually make more money from time, isn't there? You either charge more or you find a way to actually get other people to start to do it. Leverage, okay? But you can't just throw people at it because you need the right systems. So this is where systematic thinking within a business is going to allow you to scale. You may get to 1 million and 2 million without systems, but let me tell you, without the right systems, you're not going to get above that because people need rules. They need the rules of the game of how your business operates and not what they think your business should operate.
Thank you for listening to the podcast so far. A quick reminder that the A Players podcast and community remains free. The reason we do this podcast is because I believe that a great question to ask is, what advice would you give your younger self? For me, I wish I had a guide that showed me the exact steps to reach 100k a year in any job, and how much my life would be accelerated if I'd cut through that noise and just focused on those steps. We do not run ads or endorse sponsors because it is our mission to give back and share with you, the listener, knowledge gained from working with highly successful individuals and extensive research in management science, so that everyone has access to tools that can accelerate their income and give them the opportunity to step into wealth. In line with allowing us to achieve that mission, we ask that you think about, how did you end up on this podcast today? Maybe it was through finding it on YouTube or Spotify or word of mouth. So please help feed forward by subscribing to the podcast, and also share this podcast with another leader like you that you feel this podcast could really help out in helping them increase their personal income too. Let's get back to the show.
Number 6 is time. Again, time is the most invaluable asset that you will have. It's 24 hours. People say, well, time is money. Yeah, well, money is time as well. If you're not spending money, then you will never get more time. People might be watching this on YouTube right now and you're thinking, right, okay, well, time isn't my problem. I just need to make more money. Well, it will be a problem eventually, because if you're as good as what this A Players podcast will teach you, then you will quickly start to realize that, wow, okay, I've now hit my goal of 100k a year. What's my next goal? $250,000 a year. Yeah. $500,000 a year. 1 million personal income a year. That is possible. That is what I do. And when I work and coach very high income earners that are doing this. So if you want to be able to do that, it's a lot of work, right? Unless you're a brain surgeon that can charge $50,000 per actual job that you do, then yeah, there's one way of doing it. But the second one has got to be, how do you make the best use of your time so that you can achieve what you actually want to do? So, number 7, well, if you want more time, then it's about time you start hiring some more people. Eventually, you'll start hiring people. That can either be in outsourcing, or it can either be about employing. Of course, when you do employ people as a business, then you're going to have to take on like things like national insurance and all sorts of pensions, etc. No matter where you are in the world, taxes will need to be paid on those people as well. Now, don't fear that, because eventually you're talking about making a £10 million business or a $10 million business. If you're going to do that, then of course you're going to need to employ people. So what that means is you need to start learning some good people skills and making sure that the people that come on have great leadership. So you need to be a great leader as well, so that they can follow your systems. Again, I will really emphasize this power of systems. And I'm only talking here of, this is the stuff that I've done to get to a $10 million business. Okay. So this isn't no consulting or coaching shit. This is me telling you as a mentor right now, this is what I've done. And if you choose to follow this advice, then you will start accelerating your time. It's took me 20 years to build multiple businesses past $1 million towards 10 and over 10 million. And if I can teach you that so you can do it in 2 years, fantastic. If this resonates with you, by the way, smash like and smash subscribe on YouTube or Spotify so you can resonate with this. And I know that this is the sort of content that you want to hear. So finally, money. Okay. Money, why would money, spending money, make you more money? Well, look, if you keep money in one place, it gets stagnant. The way that the world works is it's called cash flow. Think of it like this: look into the sky and imagine that there's a huge stream of cash flow, a river flowing around the world. And it goes like this: when the markets open and the markets close, it goes with the sunlight in the day. Yeah. So, what that means is that there's always this cash flow that's going to be happening in the economy. What you need to do is figure out how you start to siphon that in towards your business and ultimately your personal income as well, and your family's income, of course. So, what do you need to do? Well, to make that money come towards you, you need to start to build something. And building something doesn't just come from your time. Eventually, you're going to need to employ people that are better than you. Yeah. You need to be a great person that knows a lot of stuff, but you need specialists as well. For example, in the $10 million businesses that I own, then they got to have people that are better at marketing than me, people that are better than sales than me, people that are better than operations than me. And if they're not, there's two options. You either hire somebody who is, or you train and develop the people so that they can be better than you. And the only way to do that is, guess what? Yeah. You don't pay someone's mortgage, you don't pay for somebody's home by likes on Instagram or through happiness and thank yous. It comes down to fucking money. So you need to spend money if you're going to scale your business. And the one biggest thing that I hear people talking about is how they can save money when they should be thinking about how they invest money. And I'm not saying invest money as in like some sales trick to say, oh, this is the investment and not the cost. No, right. The cost is the cost. It costs you. Growth costs money. And if you're watching this now and you haven't smashed that $1 million mark, then guess what? I can guarantee it's because of your relationship and mindset around money. Maybe that's another podcast that we should do. If that resonates with you, by the way, just comment in the notes, in the comments below on YouTube. What should we call it? Money podcast. Yeah. Call it something like that. Business money, investment. I'll get what you mean on this episode. If that resonates with you and you want more information on that, let me know. Keep this episode short, down to 15 minutes. Again, if this resonates with you, or there's any gold nuggets in this that you think may help somebody else in scaling them to be an A player, then make sure you copy that link and you slide this podcast into their DMs. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be great. Catch you on the next episode.